Good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Beer Radio with Sean Connors. As you can guess, a new box of beer has arrived. For any new viewers, basically I'm a member of a beer club, so every month they send me a dozen beer. It's normally 6 different beers, normally from 3 breweries, but that's sometimes it's 4, but usually it's 3 breweries, 2 different beers of each. So me and my buddy James went halves. He gets 6 beers, and I get 6 beers, the same beers type of thing. So let's crack her open and see what this month is going to bring us. Alright. Favorite time of month. So with the beer, I do get a newsletter. Basically the newsletter tells me a little bit about each brewery and a little bit about each beer. So this one, the breweries in this one is Indie Ale House out of Toronto, Salters Street Brewery out of Toronto, and Bayfield Brewery out of Bayfield, Ontario. Now the beer club is supposed to be craft beers from across Canada, but it seems like 90% of the beers are from Ontario breweries. Obviously the bigger province, they got more breweries. Occasionally we do get from other provinces, and I think twice in last year we actually had beers from Greece. So I keep hoping that eventually they'll expand and get outside Ontario. I mean, Quebec is our second biggest province, so they have a large number of breweries as well. Even here in Newfoundland now, we're one of the smaller provinces, and I'd say we got probably a dozen microbreweries. So hopefully they'll start expanding and get other breweries on board. And also note on the thing, they have a little section. It's kind of like a did you know type of thing. It just gives you some beer facts or beer trivia. So this month it says, in the days of poor sanitation, not that long ago at all, and still true in some places, beer was one of the few safe ways to stay hydrated. And that's for session beers type of thing. And session beers are basically beers that in the manufacturing plants that people drink during the breaks. It also says canned beer gained consumer popularity with soldiers who had returned home from World War II, familiar and comfortable with cans from their time overseas. Alright, so let's see what beers we got. Alright, so we have Shoreline Cream Ale. And that's from Bayfield Brewing Company. So I got 2 of those. I have 2 of every style of beer, so we'll take. And this is Parquet Pale Lager. And that's from Indie Ale House. And then we have Blonde Italian Pilsner. And that's from, I don't know where it's from. I'm just looking there. It must be the Salter Street, I guess. Can't really see it on there. And then we have Riverside Copper Pilsner, and that's Salter Street. Just curious with this one, the blonde. Oh, I thought it was blonde. It's actually Bionda, and that's actually Indie House. And then we have Safe Word from Indie, and this is the Quebec Pale Ale. I used to know what Quebec was, but I don't know offhand. And then we have Time Bomb Sour Series, Sour Berry Blast. And that's Salter Street. So then comes a big question, which one am I going to have tonight? Okay, cream ale, I think I'm going to pass on tonight. And what do we say this one? Pale lager, possibly. Italian Pilsner, that's a possibility. I don't know what Italian Pilsner is. Copper Pilsner, not tonight. Quebec KVEIK Pale Ale, not tonight. Actually, that's a possibility. And the sour, I do enjoy sours, but I'm not really in the mood. So let's see. Pale lager, I think I'll pass on that one tonight. Actually, I think I'm going to go with the Italian Pilsner, just for something different, because I have no idea on Italian Pilsner. So with that being said, I'm going to use my Pilsner glass. I did have a glass ready, but it's a Pilsner glass, so since I'm having a Pilsner, I'm just giving my glass a quick cold water rinse. I'll lay that to the side. I'm going to move these over. I'll just zoom in. There's not a lot on the can, but I'm going to zoom in. And then I will read a little bit about the brewery. And and a little bit about the beer itself. So there's not much information here. Can is pretty simple. But Bionda, Bionda, Italian Pale Ale at 5% alcohol. So let's see, where did I say this one's from? Indie Ale House. It says, since opening their doors in October 2012, they've been working to bring new and exciting, flavorful beers to their community. They like to experiment, be adventurous, and break old traditional brewing rules. Indie Ale House made it their mission to create a diverse product roster that includes delicious, easy-drinking beers everyone can appreciate, as well as hard-to-find ales that leave a lasting impression. They have spent years developing a variety of audacious brews that are hoppier, fruitier, aged longer, and in weirder barrels. Then in quotations, if we go overboard on some element of beer making, we generally will. It says Indie Ale House started off as a small yet foolhardy bunch in a quaint and elementary brew pub in Toronto's West End. After several years of refining processes and working with a wonderful, dedicated team of beer lovers, they have grown their junction-located brew pub and bottle shop into a bustling space. They have also opened a second brewing space, tasting room, and bottle shop in partnership with Italy at the heart of downtown Toronto. And for the beer itself, it says Bionda Classic Italian Pilsner. It says it's brewed at their Nano Brew Pub, Biroteca, nestled within Eataly, E-A-T-A-L-Y. I'm assuming that's a brew pub maybe. It says dry hop Pilsner that is aromatic, clean, and crisp. Alright, so let's give it a try. So it's a Pilsner, so it's lager. Generally lagers. Sorry about this, folks. I thought I zoomed out. I had myself talking, and you got to look at my sweatshirt. Crooked as sin. Apologize for that. So generally lagers are clean, crisp, and refreshing, so I assume this one's going to be pretty well the same. I've never heard of an Italian Pilsner, so a little bit perplexed of what to expect, not quite sure. So typical with a lager, you got a nice golden color with substantial head. Now this head is a lot more than you're usually going to get. That's probably due to I wasn't paying attention when I was pouring. So let that settle for a second. Like I said, I got 5 other beers, and I still have one beer last from last month. But as I said in my last review, I'm actually heading to the Caribbean Saturday, 2 days time. So next week I won't be doing one at home. However, if I can find a beer in the Dominican Republic that I haven't had before, I'll do a review on it from a beach, hopefully. Alright, so lots of carbonization. I do like that. Nice clean color, nice golden color. Typical lager aroma. Nothing's jumping out at me. Actually, it's kind of I was thinking there's a typical lager aroma, but there seems to be a little bit aroma. It kind of sounds kind of weird, almost like ale-like. Generally, ales are more complex, so they're more flavorful, more aromatic. This actually has a little bit more than. Like if I had to judge this just from taste, if I looking at it, I would think a lager. But if it's just from aroma, I think I'd be a little bit perplexed whether it was a ale or a lager. But the big question is always, how does it taste? Initially I was thinking, oh yeah, it's tasty, and then that kind of dissipated rather quickly. So I definitely need to take another couple of mouthfuls, try to get a real taste for it. For me, it almost takes a little bit too hoppy for a lager. So again, if I didn't know what I was drinking and a blind taste test, I'm not sure if I would be able to nail this one down exactly where it fit in. Like I said, it looks like a lager for the most part. Now, there are ales that look similar, but did they say anything about the hops? Yes, dry hop Pilsner. So it's quite hoppy, in my opinion, for a Pilsner. Um, it's not at all what I would expect from a Pilsner, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just kind of caught me off guard. Rating wise, my ratings are always out of a 5. A 1 is a drain pour, I'm literally going to pour it down the drain. A 2 is like, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it. A 3 being a good beer. A 4 being a very good beer. And a 5 being the best beer I've ever had. And this one's kind of got me a little bit perplexed. There's something about the taste that I think it's a little bit too hoppy for me for a lager. But at the same point, it doesn't really linger that long. It kind of lingers, but it's not a dominant aspect. It is something kind of sticks with me, but just to a small degree. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it on the scale. Honestly, first of all, I was thinking 2.5, but now I'm wondering if I even really want to go that high. Oh, sorry, originally I was thinking 3.0, now I'm wondering if I want to go that high. Now I'm thinking perhaps a 2.5. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with a 2.5. It's not really doing it for me. It's not necessarily a bad beer, but it just doesn't do it for me. The impression I got from reading a little bit of the brew, they have a tendency to push the envelope, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at times you get great results, and other times you don't, and sometimes it's kind of like, yeah, perhaps we should have just left a lager as a lager. And that's kind of where I am with this one. It just doesn't quite do it for me. Kind of like, thanks for trying something new, but I don't know if that's common with all Italian Pilsner, if they're normally hoppy or not, but for me it doesn't really quite do it for me, so I think I'm going to stick with my 2.5. So for the Bionda Classic Italian Pilsner from Indie House, 2.5. Hopefully you can join me sometime within the next week, and hopefully I'll be doing it from the Caribbeans. So until next brew, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.